Hey everyone, it's Coach Christine and welcome to Christine's Kitchen. So, everybody asks me about recipes all the time, and since we're all at home and have a little extra time on our hands, I thought I would share how I'm cooking dinner with everyone today. So on our menu, I'm going to be doing BBQ Tempeh with a spicy mustard sauce over some Brussels sprouts and lemon garlic sauce over asparagus. It sounds rich and southern and really comfort foody. Honestly, it's all healthy, clean ingredients. It's nutritiously dense, and it's a great way to show you some simple swaps of how to do everything. So we're going to start with tempeh. Now I'm eating vegetarian, so you could do this with a lean cut of meat, chicken, a lean pork, but for me I use tempeh, which is going to be kind of a meatless rib. So first things first, in order to cook tempeh, you've got to wash it. So we're going to come over to my sink. We open up the package, literally unzip it and cut into it. Trader Joe's is by far the best place to buy this. It's a third of the price of anywhere else, and it's fantastic quality. So when you're using tempeh, it's going to be kind of a meaty, grainy texture. It's really dense. It's actually really delicious. I used to claim to be allergic to pretty much every food that I was afraid of trying or thought I wouldn't like, and it turns out I was allergic to everything. And now that I've tried everything, I'm allergic to nothing. My husband laughs at me because of this. He was like, "You were allergic to wheat thins at one point?" I know, simmer down. The point is, I would have never in a million years ventured out to try any of this, much less even considered going vegetarian. But once I started experimenting in the kitchen, it was amazing. So when you take your tempeh out of the package, you just want to do a quick rinse over it. We're gonna come over here, put it into the saucepan. You want to take it and add just enough water over the saucepan to cover the tempeh. So just about that much. Now what we do is add in 2 tablespoons of a tamari soy sauce. This is delicious. It's going to really infuse all of this flavor into it. So there's 1, 2, yep, I actually do measure all of my things out, especially when I'm trying new recipes because I'm not sure how they're supposed to taste if I go off of book. Then we're going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of your onion powder. So I've got that out here. Do my little measurement. And then last but not least, honestly, it's 3 simple ingredients. You really can't go wrong here. Is a couple of cloves of minced garlic. I am terrible when it comes to chopping. I honestly rely on my husband as my sous chef all the time. So bear with me on my hideous cutting skills. Now, I can tell you that the average person should, cup their fingers and get your fingertips out of the way so that you prevent injury. I actually can't do it to save my life. So we're just gonna very carefully chop this up with my hand on top of the knife until my husband teaches me how to properly chop in the kitchen. So for all of you who don't have the chopping ability, just chop safely. So I'm gonna take this, add it on in, and I'm gonna bring this to a simmer for just about 10 minutes. Turn the pan on. Mix all of these ingredients in. You can take it if you obviously don't want to put your hand into a pan once you turn it on, so take your tongs and turn it over just so that you're getting all of those seasonings throughout. We're gonna let this simmer for about 10 minutes and then we'll come back and transfer it to our baking dish. Okay, so now that your tempeh has been simmering for about 10 minutes, what we want to do is transfer it into your baking dish and then refrigerate it for about 20 minutes. So we really want it to absorb all of these delicious juices that are in here. So take about 1/2 cup of your remaining liquid, go ahead and carefully put it into your measuring cup. Since I don't want to get my hand too hot and I don't have anything to really take it out, I'm just going to do 2 of these, pouring it over the top. That way my hand doesn't get into that hot boiling liquid. And then you can go ahead and dispose of the rest of your water. You're done with this pan. So I'm going to take this little bit of just love and juice that's on there. It's going to absorb for about 20 minutes in the refrigerator. And then once it's set, we'll go ahead and add the barbecue sauce and get it ready for the oven. All right, so my tempeh is already marinated in the fridge for about 20 minutes. And the next thing is really the most fun part of this whole thing. So you're gonna take your tempeh, you're gonna put it on your foil-lined cookie sheet, and I'm just gonna take a knife over here and gently cut it into little strips. So like I said, I'm vegetarian. Occasionally I eat meat. Vegetarian by choice, just for health benefits. But the idea is I still miss ribs and I wanted something meaty and delicious. So I'm gonna cut this into little pieces so that it looks like ribs. And I promise you, the texture is very similar to that as if I were eating boneless ribs, and the meat just kind of, you know, melts in your mouth and tears off, and you got all the barbecue sauce. It's amazing. That is what we're doing right now. So I've cut this into little kind of rib strips here, and I'm gonna take my barbecue sauce. Now I tend to use sugar-free barbecue sauce. One of my favorite is G. Hughes. He does this sugar-free. This is sweet and spicy. I love spice. So the more spice, the better, but this is fantastic. Literally per, 2 tablespoons is 10 calories. So this is one of those really good, simple swaps. Anyway, I use the sugar-free. I've already pre-measured this out. There are 10 tablespoons, so it's 5 servings in here. I'm gonna have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. And while that's preheating, I'm just gonna take my barbecue sauce and I'm just gonna baste it over the top here, getting all of this nice and lathered up. You want it really saucy and delicious. I mean, we're talking comfort food here. So, you know, spare no anything, like eat up. This should be delicious and amazing. So I'm just gonna take it, I'm gonna really lather it up, and then I'm gonna take my tongs and I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna make sure that the other side is nice and saucy. We'll put this in the oven for about 20 minutes total at 400 degrees. But halfway through, I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna lather it up with more barbecue sauce because, again, saucy, who doesn't love a little sauce? I'm all in. Like, let's have some comfort food, let's eat real. Just because I eat healthy, it doesn't mean that I don't want to feel like I'm indulging. I am all about finding the most flavor with food. I love food. I love food. There's a reason that I used to be a lot heavier than I am now because I love food. But I learned how to cook food healthy and for meals that I love, that are delicious and packed with flavor. You just have to find the simple swaps that work for you. So, like I said, lather it up. We're gonna let that sit for just a minute until my oven is fully preheated. And while that is waiting, I'm gonna set my sauce aside because we're gonna come back to that. I am gonna go ahead and get my asparagus prepped. So for the asparagus, you really wanna make sure you take your bunch that you're using. You're gonna cut the ends just a little bit to make sure they're all even and it's nice and fresh. I will compost the rest of these later. Taking the asparagus, I'm just gonna rinse my dish. No need to use multiples here, since this was just a little water and delicious seasoning. I'm gonna pre-marinate this. So, what we're gonna do is take this, toss it into here. I'm gonna grab a little bit more garlic. We'll take about 2 cloves and just chop it up. And then set that aside. So this is gonna get chopped here. Now, another simple swap that I like to use rather than loading things up with tons of oil is I've been a really big fan of the oil sprays, and avocado oil is a great spray, and you can use it for a salad dressing, but it also is great just for throwing it onto this asparagus. So I have my avocado oil spray here, and I'll do it for about 5 sprays. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really kind of lather everything up. Make sure you wash your hands beforehand. I did, I just didn't show you on camera. You know what I'm saying. Take a little bit of lemon juice. I just grab, you know, my regular mixed drink lemon juice that I keep in the fridge. Sprinkle it on. Add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Now that my hands are wet, let me grab a towel. Easier to do cracked pepper that way. So you add a little bit of pepper. And then we can do just a little bit of this garlic seasoning into it as well. Now I have an air fryer at home. So for me, basically, I'm gonna come over here. This is literally the best invention and the best thing that we've ever been gifted. So all of the flavor, none of the guilt. For this, I'm going to take it, preheat my air fryer. Takes about 3 minutes to preheat, and then I could just take my asparagus, set it in here at about 400 degrees and let it cook for about 20 minutes. It is absolutely amazing. So once it's preheated, we'll come back to it. From there, we are going to do our Brussels sprouts. Now, my oven's preheated, so I'm going to go ahead and set this in for the meantime. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes so that I know when to come back and add more sauce because I really want it saucy. And over here, what I'm going to do is just finish chopping the rest of my garlic. And I'm going to put this into a pan just to saute a little bit with about a tablespoon of olive oil. This is going to be for my Brussels sprouts. Really start to finish, I mean, you need a little bit of prep time for this. So it's about 20 minutes or 30 minutes by the time you cook the water in the tahini soy sauce and then marinate it for the 20. But honestly, when I'm cooking stuff like this, I do it on my lunch break. I'm eating my lunch, I have that prepped. It's just off to the side, and then I let it marinate for the day. So from there, I'm just gonna put this in to my pan. I'm going to turn it on to a medium-high heat. I'm going to take about a tablespoon of coconut oil, just measure it out, toss it in here to liquefy. And once this starts to saute together, we'll add the Brussels sprouts. Okay, so my air fryer is preheated. I'm literally going to just open it up and toss these in. They're just gonna lay on top. I'm gonna evenly space them out. They look so beautiful. I can't wait to eat them. Throw that in the sink because I'm done with that dish. We're gonna come over here and I'm just gonna basically set it and forget it. 400, make sure this is up to 20 minutes. It automatically sets the timer. Now, if you don't have an air fryer, a great trick that I saw to do at home, make sure that timer is set, there we go, is you can take your baking dish and put a cooling rack on top of it. So line the baking dish with foil, put your cooling rack on top, and then put your asparagus or whatever things you want to kind of air fry, you just put it on top. That way, as you bake it, the air flows through in a nice circular fashion. So while that's in, we're gonna come over and I've got my olive oil or my avocado oil is now melting over this medium heat. The garlic is sauteing, and I grabbed a bag of Brussels sprouts. It's already shaved, pre-done, so I'm gonna add this on in. Cut it open. So the recipe itself is really very simple. So essentially, you could just toss a bag, olive oil, garlic, and then we'll add the mustard in a little bit to create the sauce. But if you want a little bit of additional seasoning, it doesn't hurt to add, your salt, pepper, garlic salt. If you like it spicier, you could add some crushed red pepper. This is going to be a spicy mustard dish. So we're going to add a little bit of, zest into this. So just toss the Brussels sprouts around. You got to take a look at this. This is amazing. It looks so good. I can't wait. So just coating it in that olive oil and garlic. Just beautiful. Now let me open my cabinet, grab out some crushed red pepper. If your cabinet's anything like mine, it's overstocked with 27 seasonings that you may have never heard of or probably will never use, and things come flying out at you, so just be careful. We'll add some crushed red pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic seasoning just because I want to get a little bit of extra zest in there. And I want a little bit more of my black pepper because it just makes me happy. Really seasoning it up. This is going to be so delicious. I can't wait to share this tonight. And we're just going to let this brown. And once it's brown, then we'll add the mustard sauce. Okay, this is all coming together beautifully. I'm so excited. My Brussels sprouts are just starting to get brown on the edges. I mean, come take a look at this. Look at how beautiful those are. But my timer is going to be done in about 10 seconds, and that means it's sauce time. We are going to make sure we pull these tempeh ribs out and get them re-sauced up. So safety first, grab a pot holder. Let's pull this out of the oven. Oh my God, look how amazing these look. I'm so excited. Now we're only halfway cooked, so bear with me. Let's come and add the rest of the sauce to it. So let's, oh, look at this. Just lather it up. Get it all over top and bottom. These are gonna be so meaty and delicious and saucy. You gotta flip them over because you don't want any part untouched. So easy, literally 20 minutes in the oven, amazing. Vegetarian barbecue ribs. I don't care if you're vegan, vegetarian, full-on meat eater, these are absolutely delicious, and I highly would recommend this to anyone. Like I said, I used to pretend that I was allergic to foods that I didn't know or didn't like, and once I started trying them, the entire world of flavor opened up, and I am healthier and in better shape, as is my husband. Like, both of us are just like, it's brought us together cooking in the kitchen, and so I would recommend this to anyone. Just get in the kitchen, cook together, try new things, pick a new recipe each week, and you will really surprise yourself. Okay, they're going back in the oven. Look at how loaded with sauce this is. I can't wait. I just can't wait. Here we go, 10 more minutes in the oven, and we are 10 minutes from perfection here. Now with the asparagus, I know I'm air frying it, but we're about halfway in on this too. We're gonna open it up, just shake it up to rotate it around. Oh, they're gonna be delicious. They're gonna get a little bit crisp on the outside and perfectly cooked through the inside. Put it back in, it's just gonna finish the time. And now we're gonna come over and add the mustard sauce. So we already have the garlic, salt and pepper, the seasonings, and your coconut oil. Sorry, I may have misspoke earlier. I just start cooking with oil and I never know what the heck I'm talking about. Coconut oil is what's in here. It's a tablespoon of it. And I'm gonna add now 3 tablespoons of a spicy mustard. So this literally is your generic Winco spicy brown mustard. Nothing fancy. Use what's in your kitchen. So I'm gonna measure it out. 1, 2, and 3. Set your measuring spoon aside. Just stir your Brussels sprouts into this, folding it in, really making sure you're dispersing that sauce evenly over everything. And the flavors of this, it's like this southern fried happiness that is absolutely spectacular. We're gonna turn the temperature down here just to warm to keep it going. And that really is about ready to go. So I've got all of the mustard folded in. It's simmering with the coconut oil. Look how beautiful this is. It's just absolutely spectacular. This is literally 2 portions worth. I mean, we are gonna eat like kings tonight. So much food, so little calories for the amount of food that we're eating. So to give you guys an idea, all in, by the time we have the mustard sauce on the Brussels sprouts, the lemon garlic aioli that I'm about to show you how to make that will drizzle onto our asparagus, and our very, very saucy barbecue sauce tempeh ribs, you're about 560 calories. When we plate this up, you're gonna see how amazing it is. So healthy, so delicious. You'll have to give it a try. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so now that everything is getting really close to being ready, we need to make the lemon garlic aioli sauce. So, I get this, honestly, at our local grocery store. It's Wildwood Aioli Zesty Garlic. For those of you who are lactose intolerant or are eating dairy-free, this is totally vegan. And honestly, the best find that I have found in a long time, because this tastes amazing. I mean, you could literally just dip veggies or chips and eat this on its own, but I'm gonna use it to mix for our base for our aioli. So we're gonna take 2 tablespoons of this here. I'm just gonna spoon this over to make sure that I'm nice and even. Put it into my little colander. Doesn't take a lot of sauce to make this amazing. So you've got your 2 tablespoons. And then back to my little container of lemon juice. Just squeeze it in and grab your whisk. I'm going to use my mini one. You can use a spoon, a fork, honestly, an attachment to your blender or your, like the KitchenAid or hand mixer. But I just happen to have a little one and it fits into my little dish perfectly. So all you're going to do is just mix the lemon juice and this aioli together and create a little bit of a liquidy sauce. This is going to get drizzled on top of the asparagus and it's going to be delicious. Okay, now is the time that we've all been waiting for. Let's get these tempeh ribs out of the oven and get everything plated up. So we've got these beautiful, beautiful saucy ribs. Oh my God, look how juicy and amazing these look. We're just gonna set them onto the plate. And then I'm gonna take these gorgeous mustard sauce shaved Brussels sprouts and add them on over here. They smell so good. I wish there was like smell-o-vision on this camera because this smells absolutely amazing. So we've got all of these Brussels sprouts. And last but not least, we want to make sure that we are adding our asparagus. It's been in the air fryer, so it's a little bit crisp on the outside and absolute perfection on the inside. And we are going to finish this off with our beautiful lemon garlic aioli. And if you have any left, feel free to just drizzle it. Let's come that way so you can see. Oh my God, it looks so good. Add a little bit more to my other plate here. And voila, dinner is served. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Christine's Kitchen, and we will see you next time for our next recipe.